on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield, live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. And by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here are your hosts, Teddy Lehman, and the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
That guy's shocked. He's shocked. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rudy's. It is football season, and with Sooner Sports Talk time, for the next 60 minutes, we're talking OU, Temple, and other things. Please help me welcome my co-host, color analyst, the best in America, and the Butkus Award winner, Teddy Lehman, ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate that, T-Row.
Yes. And this guy right here, year 3 as head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables in the house. How we doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm doing good. It's a lot of fun. We had week 0. It was like, game-winning field goals and all kinds of stuff, and now we get to watch the Sooners.
Wasn't that fun?
It was
How
fun.
How good was that?
It was fun. Would you ever take a team to Ireland, by the way?
I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't either.
I'm thinking, how do they – because I think they both play this next weekend.
Yeah, Florida State plays like Monday night or something like that.
Yeah.
How was fall?
Tough.
How was fall camp, practices,
Really,
and everything?
Yeah, it was really good. Again, what I liked the most, again, this team did in fall camp what they had done from January to spring through the summer, and they carried it on in fall camp. They showed up with a workmanlike attitude, and they've made a decision that they're going to be about their work and live by their work and not by a reputation, what they're supposed to be. So living by their work is something that I've seen them do, and then showing up every day with a humble mindset to get better, to improve, do the things that it takes to be a winner. Do what winners do. That means you show up every day, you go to work, you keep your head down, you have some respect for the process, the investment that it takes, and you have a level of consistency that the game requires to have success. So they continue to do that. And again, where we were, I said this a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's night and day where we are as a team from where we ended the spring. And that should be that way because we have several new faces with several freshmen or transfers in, or again, you got a guy like a Jackson Arnold or Mike Hawkins that are, they've had exponential amount of additional reps, within the system and just getting more and more comfortable. So you'd always like to be a little bit healthier, but everybody comes out of fall camp to a certain degree, a little bit banged up, but I feel really good. I know the depth charts came out here today, and so we have maybe a guy or two that might be a day-to-day on there. But other than Jaden Gibson, who unfortunately we lost for the season, I hate that for him. He had worked so hard for this opportunity. Other than Jaden, everybody else will get a chance to get back out there, knock on wood, and we need that to go in our favor. But so really, like when we started the week off really good, we ended, last week was our first week of school and had a really, again, excellent week. Just a mature mindset of our guys, and so not having to, chase guys around to turn up the intensity and the focus. Sometimes you have to, or it's like pulling teeth, and you can still get it done that way, but that's not as much fun as when they show up and they like you to coach them hard and push them and challenge them.
What's the difference? The first 2 years here, Dylan Gabriel, he had a quarterback with a ton of experience, had been different places, and now you've got a young quarterback. How is that different for the offense with that leadership being a little younger at that spot?
Well, again, everybody around him's got to be better. But again, I think putting him in a position, scheme-wise, and the things that he's allowed to do, some of maybe audibles and things like that he's allowed to do to make things a little more clear for him, if you will, and make sure he finds the open guy like that play right there. When the guy's open, make you lay up, here we got some plays, and Jackson, as we know, is a. How about that play right there on 4th down? Was that a great play
Big time,
to win the game?
BYU.
Yeah, it sure was.
He's got a lot of them. I was really impressed with in this game how he stood in there with guys all around him and made some great throws.
Yeah, if we, and again, I said this as well a few days ago. Some of the mistakes are going to happen for a young guy, and of course he's thrown in there the last game of the regular season to be the starter after taking limited reps during the year, and then. Several new starters, starting with several offensive linemen that are making their first start too. And then you got new coordinators, making their debut. And so I'm not making excuses. Nobody likes to hear them, but you also have to live in reality. So you didn't win the game. You turned the ball over 6 times, but with, again, 2.5 minutes to go in the game, you have a chance to go up, 34-13, and it's probably close to being over. And but that's football. And this game will punish you when you don't do things right. But again, in that game, he threw for 350 yards. We had close to 600 yards of offense. We did a lot really good. You just can't turn the ball over. Sometimes you can turn the ball over and still win in a dominant way, but you can't have a couple of defensive touchdowns, against you and expect to win most of the time. So I think in a small sample size, you got a great feel that, Jackson is going to have a chance to have unlimited potential and career, and but it kind of takes what it takes. Who he is right now, and again, he's had a really good camp, and Mike Hawkins had a really good camp. Casey had a nice camp, and there's going to be some ups and some downs, and some amazing moments and plays, and great signs of maturity and growth. And then there's going to be some of the young mistakes, and then through it all, everybody around him has got to continue to get better too. And so I like the blend that we have. Again, we do have experience returning, just not in an Oklahoma uniform.
Yeah.
Up front, and that matters. These guys that have done it, and they've been working hard to get their cohesion and chemistry down too.
Opening segment presented by Noble McIntyre Law, the law firm for all your personal injury needs. The depth chart is out. Mm-hmm. Coach took mine from me, but we're going to talk about it when we come back. Let's talk depth chart next. It's Sooner Sports Talk here at Rudy's, the season opener coming up Friday.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bob Moore Ford is proud to honor service members through the Patriot of the Game. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Junior Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy.
All right, welcome back to Rudy's, everybody. 6 o'clock Friday night, season opener, Oklahoma and Temple on Owen Field. This segment brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. The depth chart was unveiled 5 o'clock this afternoon. Coach, I'd be intrigued to know, how hard is this to do? And did anything surprise you? And I'm not saying does anything surprise you on here because you put it on here.
Right.
But, I mean, compared to how you thought it might shake out a month ago or so.
It's still so early in the season. So I'm going to say no. Nothing, quote unquote, surprised us. But, there has been some guys that have had a really good offseason that you might, recognize. And I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago too, over the last couple of weeks, was, the improvement, from a year ago where we're at running back right now. I feel really good with Gavin and Javonte. Gavin's been a model of consistency. Javonte's look incredibly explosive, just running with more purpose. And then Sam Franklin, he might have had the most explosive number of plays through fall camp and the spring. He's got a big playability. He's learning how to practice. He's one of those guys remember how Rocky Calmus was not a great practice player. He practiced hard, but didn't practice great all the time. But that sucker could play.
Yeah.
You put him in a game, it was like, holy cow. You just always would find a way to make plays. And sometimes guys, they're not great practice players. Taylor Tatum is really explosive, got great size. Caleb Hicks he really flashed. Xavier Robinson's not on there, and he showed really good instincts. He's trimmed down and has done a great job. Chapman McCown at running back, he's a sub 4.5 guy that can stay on his feet, kind of like Quentin Griffin with maybe even better long speed. And then at tight end, again, that's a group from a year ago at this time that is nothing remotely close to what we were a year ago. We just have more capable players, and again, that's not to take anything away from Austin Stogner, but it was Austin and then about nobody else. And the group as a whole, Bauer, Sharp, Jake Roberts, Cade McIntyre is probably our most improved player, maybe most improved overall on offense.
Wow.
And then Caden Helms is back, and man, he is big, he's long, he's fast. He's been hurt since he's been here, and so he's had a great camp. Brennan Thompson, he's at the top of the depth chart there.
How about that?
And Nick he's been a little bit limited. He's day to day. We feel like he would have a chance to go this weekend, but this really speaks to Brennan and his development. And it started back in the spring. If you remember, at high school, he played everywhere and mainly quarterback. And then he goes to Texas as a true freshman, and he doesn't hardly play. He's a backup and played in like 2 games, and then ran track, had a hamstring, and then he came here, and then you saw he had a big play in the Alamo Bowl, a couple big plays, and then he got a concussion, and then we had to hold him out for a little while, and man, he has developed into a fantastic receiver. He's incredibly fast. He's a legit 10-2 100-meter guy. But he plays really big, and he can run the route tree. He's not just a go ball guy, and he can go. Don't get me wrong, he can definitely go. But he'll run the curls, the overs, the digs, the mesh route. He really, and he's plays tough. So I'm really excited about where he is, and he's one of the smartest guys we got. He's become a leader, loves to compete. And Andrell Anthony is right there, and he's fully cleared, ready to go, and excited for Andrell. And wherever he is this weekend, he'll just keep getting better and better. As a guy that tore his ACL close to a year ago, so really excited about him. Jacob Sexton can play inside and outside. Mike Tarquin's done a great job. Jacob and Heath Ozida, they've been really good. And then Eddie Pierre-Louis, he didn't get here until June, but he's got a chance to be a big-time player as well. He's massive, smart, tough. He shows up every day, does extra on his own to learn. Branson Hickman's a guy that has started, 36 collegiate games and can play in his sleep. He just knows what to do, really fundamentally and technically sound. Josh Bates has made tremendous improvement. In the spring game, it was 50-50 whether or not he'd be able to snap it, within 4 yards of the quarterback. And so he's made a lot of, that was funny.
I laughed. Yeah.
Sunday church crowd in here.
Probably wasn't very funny at the time for you, but yeah.
This is Monday, okay? Just so y'all know. All right, and really proud of Josh Asosa, true freshman that got here in January. He's been getting baptized by Bill Bedenbow, and and he's done a really nice job. Fabechi, he's one of our best leaders. Fabechi shows up every single day, and he's ready to raise the standard every day. And he's incredibly competitive, super athletic. He's 340 pounds. Garen Hatchett can play all 3 positions. He can play tackle, guard, and center, and he's a massive guy as well. Eugene Brooks has got a chance. He's learning how to compete and strain every day and show up. Incredibly talented. Jake Taylor, he's probably the most improved offensive lineman, and from when we started in January. I love that for Jake, and again, it's a developmental game. And he's playing his best football right now. Spencer Brown is a nice job. He's a big old guy, and he started several years at Michigan State. Isaiah Autry has done well, and he's a little bit banged up right now. And then I really like, again, Deion Burks and the things that he's done. He's he can do it all. And really love how Deion strains and competes. Jaquez Petaway, as you've seen him a little bit, and he's really come on as well, really competitive. KJ Daniels and Jacob Jordan they're both incredibly explosive. KJ Daniels is really, really fast. Reagans is not on here. He's had a pulled hammy, but he's close to being back. He was really good, but him and KJ Daniels, those guys can go. But KJ, he's only listed at 161. I had him stand up in front of the team because, I've been bragging on how tough this guy is, man, so tough. And he comes over and helps us on some defensive drills. He's an offensive player that's simulating certain things. And, man, we light him up, and he just plays big. He plays like he's 205 pounds and incredibly tough. And he's got an amazing skill set, too. And then Jalil, just a model of consistency, too, can play outside, inside. J.J. Hester's really made some huge strides. And then Zion Kearney there. So like them all, got a great battle in the kicking game, between Tyler and Zach. And Zach will kick off, and Tyler will be our first go-to and kickoff. But, Zach kicked 90% in fall camp. And he was
Zach will kick off, and Tyler will be the first place kicker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then Luke picked up where he left off last year. He's just crushing the ball. He's got great accuracy as well. Ashton Logan's a guy behind him when Luke graduates, too. Really like where he's at. So those are the guys, really on offense in the kicking game. There's 13 seniors or juniors in that two deep on offense. So overall, you're a young, quote unquote, offensive unit, but we do have 13 seniors or juniors in that two deep on offense.
All right, let's sneak in a quick break, then let's talk defense when we come back. Brent Venables with us tonight, getting set for the season opener Friday on Owen Field. Stay with us.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Norman Hyundai, your premier Hyundai dealership for new and used cars. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. New episodes drop every day. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino. Orthodontics Exclusively is a proud sponsor of the Junior Captain of the Game. Junior Captain is the ultimate fan experience for children 6 to 12.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This segment brought to you by the Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. All right, Ted, it's time to talk some defense.
Yeah, just looking at that depth chart, one thing stuck out to me. You got a true freshman defensive tackle listed on there. That's rare. I don't know how many times. I mean, it's happened before, clearly, but it's not something you see every day.
No, it's not. And since Jaden got here, he's really has shown a different level of maturity. He plays beyond his years. He shows up every day. Just how he lives his life. He's a very everything's pretty clean for him. Not messy. So he makes good decisions. He's got incredible discipline, and to me, everything starts with discipline. And he knows what he wants. He's willing to sacrifice things that don't help get him what he wants. And so he just lives a really disciplined lifestyle, and that's, as you know, that's kind of a prerequisite in order to earn an opportunity to play, at a consistent level. And so he's really there because he's worked for it, and really excited about, what he can become. But he's a great leader. He's physical. He's really fundamentally sound. His block recognition and how fast his hands go to the right places, his reaction, because the margin for error is the smallest of any spot on the defense. It's at defensive tackle, and because everything happens so fast, and if you step the wrong way, if your pads are just slightly too high, if your hands aren't in the right spot, and when you move a little bit here and there, things happen really fast. The gap exchange is really fast, and then there's a level of physicality that is very real. A lot of times you're taking on 600 plus pounds of strength and punch, and you can't lose ground. Matter of fact, you got to be able to knock people backwards and live on the other side of the line of scrimmage. You got to be able to dent people, and he's able to do that consistently. And so sometimes you say, well, he's got a freshman, they must be really weak there. No, it's actually because he's really pretty good. And it's not like he's more like a mature, dusty, young Dusty Dvorak. As opposed to a young Tommy Harris. Most people probably didn't realize this. Gerald McCoy redshirted when he got here as a true freshman because he wasn't technically sound, and he stepped long and he swim in, and you can't do that. You can get away with that in high school, but you'll get punched in the face quick and baptized quick if you're not fundamentally sound inside. So that's really, his mindset and then his fundamentals that he brought with him, and Coach Bates has done a great job with him too, but Jaden shows up every day. He's strange, same guy every day. He doesn't go up and down. He's just the model of consistency, everything that you want. So really excited about him. And then you got another guy that's played a ton of ball, DJ Terry, that he's competing with, and then Ashton Sanders, and really our guys can play left and right. We don't, sometimes they have more of a pass rushing ability as a potential like a 3 technique, and DJ Terry is more of a true nose guard, but Dom Williams is also a big, massive, athletic body guy that is disruptive, and he's getting better and better with his block rec. He's really smart, and he's played a lot of ball, and so he's learning a complete new system. But
was that a tough transition? Because
I wouldn't call it tough. I wouldn't call it tough. I thought that it might be. Didn't get here till the summer, and again, there's this language barrier that's very real, and it can slow you down. And he did a great job. Coach Bates and Trent Simpson, one of our analysts, assistant defensive line coach. He did a great job, and he showed up every day just with a great mindset. He needed to learn a new language. So, and then Grayson Halton had a really good spring, and he's just being more consistent. He's just a silly guy. He's an athlete coming out of high school, was a really good tight end. He was committed to Oregon at one time, and we got in on him. He had interest in us, and he played a lot of defensive end in high school. And so learning how to be a D tackle was a transition for him. And Grayson is a great young man, a fantastic human being, a great teammate. He just likes to have fun. And instead of locking in, like you need to.
How's that go over?
Not well. In the locker room, it goes over incredibly well, right. And on the football field or the weight room and stuff like that. And it's not like he got in trouble all the time. He just was super inconsistent, and he's got a great heart, but super athletic, and he's learned how to be a really good college player and has a chance to be a great one before he leaves. He's not a great one yet, but he has a real chance. Really, he's got the explosiveness and the athletic ability.
He's always in the backfield.
Yeah, that the really good 3 techniques do. And then, Devon Sears is a guy, or David Stone is a guy, rather, he's there first. But David is, he led our group of D tackles in fall camp. He led them in sacks. And so he's just learning how to be an every down player. And he didn't have as much of a foundation, with his fundamentals and his block rec. And so he's a guy that relied on just being real explosive and talented and playing a little bit higher and things like that. But nobody has worked harder on our whole football team than David Stone. And I brag on him in front of the players. And he deserves that. And so he just comes every day with a crazy humble mindset. He's up in our defensive staff room every single day watching tape, and He's very humble. Really highly recruited guy, high in demand, and he's got the exact right mindset for what it takes to become a great player in the future. And he's not full of himself. He's got great self-awareness. He knows what his limitations are and the areas that he has to improve, and then he works diligently and hard to get better. And so I really have a great appreciation for that. And then Devon Sears, he's really powerful. He's thick. He's really athletic for a big guy. And so just trying to get him to be a consistent, I want him to see himself as a 6'6", 350-pound giant. I want him to see that, because that's what I think he could be that. And but you got to have the right mindset, and he's been better than he's ever been, and so you'll see him some in there as well. And then again, like I said, Ashton Sanders done a nice job there as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's by far the best group you've had in your 3 years here. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, again, last year we lost Jonah, we lost Isaiah Coe, we lost Kelly inside, and then we lost what it was also a starter. And some of those guys started several games, and then we lost Jacob Lacey, who was scheduled to be a starter. So we lost 4 guys that played starter reps, and we got one guy that has started a game at Oklahoma in DJ Terry, and then the next most reps is like 98 reps by Grayson Halton. So we don't have great experience there, and so you're a little bit. You're a coach, and you trust your eyes, and so I feel really good about the group. But until you go do it in the game at Oklahoma, week 1, week 2, week 5, week 8, week 12. A lot. I'm kind of watching like everybody else, eating my popcorn. I want to see these guys go get it, So, we don't have the depth of experience that we did a year ago. It's not even close, not even remotely close. But we do have a talented group that has a chance to be really good by the end of the year.
You got 5 starters kind of at corner in Kenai and Woody and Dez and Gentry and Jacoby Johnson. What's the battle been like at corner?
It's been fun. It's been fun. It really is. That was, again, you got lots of issues. You got all these holes, and you're trying to, plug them, and you got leaks everywhere. It's just that's your mind as a coach, and you don't have enough fingers and toes to put them in as a football team. And then, looking on defense, we had different issues here and there, but the one place that I didn't feel like we played with, like we knew what we were doing all the time, was at corner. And I think a little bit of it, Woody Washington did. He was really consistent there. But, a year ago, we had, Jacoby and Gentry. Those guys were not high school corners. Most of the time, Jacoby was a high school receiver that he went out there and played country cover 3, on one side of the field, a few reps. And then Kenai was hurt a lot, and Gentry was hurt a lot. And so we didn't have what you would like from a consistency, from an availability standpoint, which is probably the best ability you got to have is availability. And this is the first time I see, between Dez, Kenai's playing his best football. Des Malone he's just smooth. He's got ice in his veins and really, really smooth in what he does. And then, Gentry and Jacoby have made great improvement from where they were a year ago, and there's still all this growth. So I don't feel like we have 5 guys that are like, the best version of Deion Sanders out there.
Right?
We're not there yet, but we've been dang good. We look like we know how to play cover 3 or man-to-man or quarters or cover 2 within our system. And we're playing with more consistency there, and now you can focus on other things instead of worrying about a corner route in cover 3, which you should destroy. You should destroy a corner route in cover 3. And last year we overlapped the guy. Next thing you know, he'd get back outside of us, and that's just bad football. It's like they run in the A gap and you got nobody in the A gap. It's going to be a problem. They're going to find it, right? If the Mike backer's supposed to be in the A gap, what happens, Teddy, if the Mike isn't in the A?
Well, you got a successful run on your hands.
The running back's going to hit his head on the goalpost. That's what.
That's right.
You're going to watch him score, Teddy.
That's right.
So
Come on,
Well,
Kenny.
you could run him down from behind. but-
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You know.
All right, we need a break. We got one more segment with Coach Venables. When we come back, we're going to talk about Week 1 opponent Temple next here at Rudy's.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. OU's 2024 football games are available on Exodus 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. See your Oklahoma Buick GMC dealer.
This segment brought to you by Pike Pass. Make it home safe, Oklahoma. Final segment with Coach Venables. 2 segments left in the show. It's time for our Rudy's question for Coach, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Stan Drayton is the head coach at Temple, former Texas associate head coach when Tom Herman was there. You have a history at all with Stan Drayton, Coach?
Well, just from when he was, coaching at Texas, there's a lot of good battles that we went through. But he's been a really successful coach. He's done a really good job wherever he's been in the roles that he's had, and places like Temple, they have a lot of turnover. Everybody in college football does now, but a place like that, he's done a really good job, and I know they've recruited well. And it'll be interesting. There's, they'll have several transfers in there like we will. And back in the day, you could, it was a lot easier to go study their returning players. Now it's a little more complicated.
Yeah.
And to see them in one scheme, and then they see them in a new scheme and things like that, it's a little bit different type of evaluation. So game day is going to be a little bit of a, let's find out,
Yeah. It didn't name a starting quarterback, and I guess like in a game like this and with all the turnover, really doesn't matter. Just kind of one of those rules-based games, I guess, for the defense.
They have a returner, and then they have a transfer they brought in, and they're going to probably battle them out. And, one's a little more athletic than the other, and one's a little bit better passer. So I would imagine that you got to be ready for a little bit of everything. And, they've done a really good job with the personnel that they have, putting them in position. They've got good schemes. They're going to try to put you in conflict. And then on defense, they've recruited a lot of guys. They've got some returning guys up front. I mean, one guy that can really get after, the quarterback, pretty disruptive. And then they've done a good job of recruiting, some back-end guys where they have length and speed and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, for us, it's we're going to be focused on Oklahoma and, what we need to do to prepare, get ready, and really, and we have to know the new DNA of the team that we're playing. That kind of goes without saying, but we're really going to focus on, how we compete, how we, respond to some adversity, the effort that we play with, the toughness, the discipline, the details, those types of things that will carry us and build a foundation for the rest of the season.
I'm intrigued to know how the helmet communication has gone. Year 1, I think Danny's going to have it for defense. I think you said obviously Jackson on offense. Has there been some tinkering there? Has there been any hiccups? Has it gone smooth? How much you want to talk, don't want to talk?
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't have a lot of time, and so there's several things that you can tell them, in this limited amount of time. I think functionally, I think you see people doing this on the field and stuff like that. It means that they're having a hard time hearing, so college football kind of work through that system. And, I think you got to be careful, too much information, on defense. You can tell him, what we're doing. You might remind him of the situation. Hey, it's P and 10 at the 50. Well, alert shots, or maybe it's in the green zone. Watch the trick plays, or they're backed up. Hey, they're going to go downhill running. They're going to take some kind of a shot, double move, or something, come off their own goal line. You can say some stuff like that, or hey, alert here, it's 3rd and extra long. They're backed up at their own -20. Alert for the draw, or maybe a screen play. and do some of those types of reminders to him, and you give him the signal, but you got to still. It's not like the defense is over there huddling and the offense is over there waiting for the defense to huddle, get the call, and then you can tell all your buddies in the huddle, hey, this is what Coach Venables or Coach Alley said the defensive call is, and then we break out of there and the offense is waiting on us, and then we're trying to hurry up and get lined up and run it. The offense is actually they can snap whenever they want, they can go as fast as they want, and so the defense it helps in that front area, but you still have to have a way to signal guys and things like that, signal to the guys. And then on offense, a lot of that's the same. And what you see, and I don't know if anybody paid attention, but you see a lot of people huddling up, and just a very small sample size. You saw some tempo, but you can talk to the quarterback, and the quarterback can go do this. He's either going to hand signal and tell everybody the play, but if he tells them the play, then somebody else can pick up the play, right? Or, they're signaling to all the skill guys on the outside, and then, this guy's telling on these guys what we're running. So, I think you'll see a little combination of everything. I think it's a little more advantageous for the offense, and because they can get in those little sugar huddles real close to the ball. When I say sugar huddle, they're in a huddle, but they're 4 yards from the football, so they can break out of there, snap the ball, quick.
Or they can get up to the line quick, and then the coach, while they're standing there looking at it upstairs, talk to them about what they're seeing.
Would you have liked to have BV in your ear when you were at OU?
Probably not, but only because you don't want very much information in that. You don't, because you're trying to talk and communicate what you've heard, and whenever they're yelling in your ear while you're trying to talk, it just kind of messes everything up. And I always would just – whatever, call the defense, get lined up, and then I'd just look over to the sideline, and he could, I would pretty much know what it was, but you look over there and he's screaming something at you at the last second. It's better to do it that way than in the helmet, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Teddy.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm trying to talk to you. Look at me right now. So before the helmet communication, it was, I needed to talk to somebody, and usually if you screwed up, they're acting like they don't see you.
Right. Ignore coach.
Busy. I'm just over here, and I'm actually over here, and I'm like, no, not you, come here.
Can only one coach talk, or can multiple coaches talk?
You got the head coach can, and then one on offense and one on defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you and Zach could potentially communicate with.
Yeah.
Yep. Him at the same time.
Yeah. So you don't want it to be chaos. Teddy hit it on the head, man. Your preparation should prepare you for game day. And there's going to be plenty of things that you have to pivot and make adjustments to. And there's going to be plenty of things. Hey, just one last reminder, but you don't want too much information.
We got about 2.5 minutes. So captains were named tonight as well for game one. Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, no surprise there. Jackson Arnold. And Bauer Sharp, his first game as a Sooner, was named a captain.
Yeah.
Tell us about the decision, especially with Bauer here.
Yeah, I just, the number one thing with Bauer, we literally could have named several guys. And but when it was all said and done, he never got banged up, hurt, missed anything since January. And since the moment he got here, man, he has just raised up the passion, the energy, the intensity, incredibly competitive. Everybody on that team loves Bauer Sharp. He made that group better, along with Jake Roberts and Caden. But Bauer makes everybody better. And he chose to move his locker right next to Jackson. Bauer's a former quarterback, and he's a little bit older guy. He's got a couple years left, but so he has a little more experience in college than Jackson does, and he wanted to move over there by his quarterback. And I just thought that was just so mature, but he does. He has made so many people around him, which I think that's what a great player does. If he can reproduce all the good things that he has, if he can reproduce that in his space, and not everybody's capable of doing that, but he has since he's been here. So, that drew a real loud, celebration when we announced him. All of them did, but especially him.
Well, the wait has been agonizing, but Friday night we get to watch your football team play.
Yeah.
So, I meant that in a good way. We've been looking forever.
Yeah, agonizing.
Football season, we've been waiting forever.
I've been begging to have more time.
No, we're
It's
ready.
been agonizing that the time's running out for me.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Friday night, Coach.
Appreciate
Brent
it.
Venables, everybody. Teddy and I will be back to wrap up the show next.
Thank you to our Cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
All right, welcome back. Final segment of the show is brought to you by your Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. All right, any quick takeaway from what Coach had to say tonight?
Well, I think they're quite a bit deeper than they've been. Some of those position battles, or you're looking at the depth chart, they're not oars just to make people feel better. There's legitimately multiple guys at some of those positions that are going to play and contribute. I think it's exciting.
All right, we got bold predictions in the first show from Gabe and Josh Norman and myself. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I don't want to ruin yours.
Okay.
What's your bold prediction for OU Temple?
Temple does not score.
That was my bold prediction as well.
Oh, it was?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. We can both do it. Shutout. A shutout. for the OU
Shutout.
defense.
I like it. I think our first team defense is excellent, and what I've seen is you start looking down that line, the second and third guys on that list, the depth chart, they're all excellent and have played a lot of football.
OU shut out Arkansas State. Grant Wade reminded me in the opener last year. Gabe predicted Jackson Arnold 5 passes of 20 or more yards. So
Okay.
5 big plays.
Be good.
And Josh Norman said we'll rush for 200 and force at least 3 turnovers. Those were their predictions. We got about a minute here. Around the rest of college football this weekend, Clemson and Georgia play in Atlanta, Miami at Florida, Notre Dame at A&M, USC and LSU will play in Vegas. Anything jump out at you you're excited about, or an upset pick there?
I think Texas A&M is going to be really good this year, especially on defense. I like Elko. He's got a really good track record. They are really talented on that defensive line. They picked up the Scourton kid from Purdue. I think they beat Notre Dame. I think they beat Texas later in the year. I think A&M's going to be a surprise
In year
team.
1 under Elko,
Yeah.
you think they got a chance. Hey, folks, want to remind you, or maybe you don't know, that coming up as soon as we sign off on SEC Network Plus, women's soccer, OU versus ORU, right over there. We can almost see the lights of the stadium. Chad McKee and Nick McMillan will be on the call. That's an 8 p.m. start for soccer tonight, OU and ORU. We'll see you next Monday night. Remember, the show moves to Monday next week. Monday night here at Rudy's. Enjoy the season opener, everybody.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.